It's been a month since I think I last saw you. Denby away, I think.
Yeah.
So, what would you describe it as? A frustrating month because of the weather?
Obviously, a couple of games what were called off, Answorth game were called off, and then I went on holiday, which was a nice break. But it seems ages. I woke up this morning, I thought it seems ages ago, and it took me sort of 10-20 seconds to try and work out what last game was, which as you say, it was Denby. So I was glad to get back to it today. I've enjoyed it. Obviously, the result hasn't gone, or how games ended hasn't gone as we'd ideally as we'd like. But yeah, it's good to get back. It's good to get back in with games played, and you know it's another point, and hopefully it's an opportunity for us to push on.
But I think the videos are picking up some interesting clips. The Donovan penalties, the time added on at Jubilee, today's added time, Hemsworth the play not being sent off on the edge of the box when Tom James went through, and then Denby, we should have had what would you describe that as, a Stonewall penalty?
I think most people who saw Denby one would have probably said it was 2 penalties in one.
But it's a very frustrating, isn't it?
It is, and it's a difficult job for referees. I think it was after the Denby game, Bailey spoke really well about how difficult it is for refs. But they sometimes don't make it easy for themselves. And yeah, we are you don't get a game, but a lot of lads who play, it's our release. You've got to work Monday to Friday. Saturday's our release. We just
and they're paying subs as well.
You just want a little bit of consistency, and sometimes I've said it all along. If a referee's an average or a poor ref, as long as they're consistent and they give the same, you just look at some of the decisions that's gone against us, and I'm not bemoaning them. It happens, but if it's going to even itself out of a season, we won't have a bad decision against us yet again this season, because we do a little bit of luck. But hey,
because we haven't watched the video back from today, but there's a potential definite penalty and a potential red card. A ball thrown at a linesman and not sin-binned, and then our player sin-binned.
Yeah, I spoke to linesman during an injury for penalty on Jordan and Liner, who were in a good position, and for me Liner should have made a call. He said he didn't think it were a penalty. Hey, you give him and you get some you don't. So Liner said he didn't think it were a penalty. Ref obviously didn't give a penalty. A couple of other decisions, again, you just look at consistency. When he gets sin-binned, I don't know what he said to the ref. If he's been swearing and aggressive in the ref's face, then it'd be a red card. So I don't know what he said to warrant. Ryan said he just asked, why is he getting foul? But it came minutes after an incident went against Stocksbridge lad, and out of frustration, he's kicked ball at or towards the linesman, and no was said. So that's again, it's that consistency, and it gets a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is.
And the linesman said it didn't hit him hard, which is a bizarre one, isn't it?
I don't think that's helped his mate's cause when he says, well, I kicked it, but he didn't kick it hard at me. So, but to be fair, if you watch game through, there were a 20-minute spell where it looked as though he'd thrown a medicine ball on, because nobody seemed to be able to kick ball more than 5 yards, whether they were clearing the lines, whether they were taking a shot. So it must have been that period where the ball were right heavy, so that's probably why he didn't kick it hard at him.
So a couple more things. Obviously last week Donovan was the standing manager, and if you watch that video, his tactical knowledge really shines, doesn't it? When he talks about the Jubilee game and how the shape was, he probably doesn't get as much credit as he deserves.
He's really underestimated what he's brought to the club. And the short period of time he's been here, I've said it before, I've known Donovan a lot of years, probably 40 years, we're the same age, believe it or not. No, it's same. It was Donovan's birthday a couple of weeks ago. It's my birthday early December, so we're both same age. We both went played against each other as kids at school. Went to Barnsley boys together, and as paths have crossed a lot. And so I've always known him. But he's an absolute top bloke. and he don't go about all singing or dancing and waving his arms and look at what I'm about. He just goes about his job, and lads in changing rooms have proper took to him. I know when he first came, there were, I'm not saying eyebrows raised, but like he's people looking and thought, well, if it in changing rooms, he's don't, as I say, he don't shout and scream, he don't wait, but he's quite, he's a dry sense of humour. He's a good lad, and all lads, all players, all committee, all lads who come and watch us think highly of him, and he's a top coach as well, top coach.
So you sort of touched on there about pushing on.
Yeah.
What's the kind of message to the lads now then? Let's get thumbs up every week, and let's try and push for the top 5 spot.
You look at today, and at the start of the season we spoke about it's a strong league. You know, there's no gimme games, and I said at the start of the season, if we can finish top 5, we've done all right, and I still believe that. And if we get anything more than that, then it's a bonus, and it'll be tough to finish top 5. You look at, we're talking about today's game and about Jubilee's game. We've lost both. We've dropped 4 points, and both goals have come in 7, 9, 10 minutes injury time. So at the end of the season, them 4 points might be costly. But what I am pleased with is you look at number of lads who are here today with a squad of 16. Obviously, Oddie's coming from reserves, but only because of Slav's injury. Maka came late, and he were on bench who would have played for reserves if their game had been on. But all the rest of the lads have come first team regulars, with a couple of lads missing. If we can keep the squad, and again it's something I've said for years, it's not always about best side in the league what win the league, it's the most consistent side who can get 12, 14 players out every week. And if we can, we used Stocksbridge game last year as a bit of a springboard. If we can use today and the numbers we've got out today, if we can do that regularly, then I think we'll be all right. We'll always be competitive, but we'll be all right, and hopefully we'll get that top 5 push and the top 5 finish.
Is this a fair statement? This is when you look at the amount of preserved players that there's around at the club, and look at the size of the first team, but we can't get everybody in on the same week. Is it the strongest Wombwell Main's been from a player number point of view since you've been back?
Oh, certainly. And if you look back at the first video we did for this season, pre-season training, we brought my under-16s in, who were in A Division and Sheffield League. And today, had the reserve game been on, there were 2 lads who were in squad for reserves. Archie Howell and Adam Carnell, they were both in squad, and I messaged them. I spoke to them at under-16 training on Tuesday, and I messaged them both Wednesday, and they were buzzing for the game. And with another lad, Harry Stokes, he's just turned 16, so he'll come into the squad. All the lads are 15, and that's the only reason why they're not involved. But as soon as they turn 16, they're a good set of lads. They'll all get an opportunity to play in senior football this year, and I know that there'll be some weeks this year when we take some of the 16s with first team. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to promise them, guaranteed game time, but it's been around lads, been around senior lads, and looking how we prepare on Saturdays in comparison to junior football Sundays, and future's quite bright. I'm looking.
Well, it sends a massive message out that what Wombwell are all about in terms of if you're willing to put under 16s in the reserves.
Hey, you look at young Finlay today. All right, he's only got last 5 minutes or so. What ended up being closer to 15.
Yeah, he was only meant to play 5 minutes, but played 15.
But he's 17-year-old. He's a young lad, and I like to think that I've always gave young lads an opportunity to, and I know I have. So and if players are good enough and they want to come and play and they want to work hard and do the right things, they'll get an opportunity. And over the next few weeks, as I say, we'll keep dipping 1 or 2 16-year-old lads in, and with a new lad coming in next week. We've just signed Fraser. He's not been available today, he's been working, but Fraser's back. Fraser's available next week. So we're all right. Number-wise, we're good. We just need to make sure that December, Christmas period, we just need to make sure that lads aren't all going out and having too many parties and not turning up Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. I don't think they will. We just need to make sure we keep these numbers.